So the first step in nurturing the garden is getting the soil ready to nourish the plants. You have to dig in the dirt, loosen it up, clear it, clean it out. It's messy work and it's necessary. I want to grow. I want all the fruits and flowers of God's goodness to be in my life. I want this lovely flowering garden to live in my heart. And the first thing I needed to do was clean up the rocks and the dirt and the old debris, the gunk that was in my space. And for me, that gunk was old, lingering hurts, resentments, grudges, things I needed to forgive, that trace of resentment, the hurt feelings. So my guides were saying I needed to release these things. And my ego was saying, no, this is nonsense. You can let that stuff go. You just need some courage. Courage is choosing to confront that which scares us. The root of the word courage is cor, C-O-R, which is Latin for heart. See, the original meaning of courage is to speak one's mind by telling all of one's heart. It means telling the truth to myself and to God and giving up the pretense that God doesn't already know the truth about me. And denial, resistance, rationalizing, those are all words for I don't like it and I'm not going to deal with it. But that does not help the heart to flourish. So my ticket to the joy I was seeking, to that beautiful garden blooming in my heart, was to stop suppressing what I don't like so I can experience it fully with neutrality and let it go. You are seeking wholeness. Honor your strength, embody your courage, and move ahead into your forgiveness work, even where it scares you. It reminded me of Ron Roth, who used to say, forgiveness is not an event. You don't do it once and you're done, it's ongoing. So, two practices have come to me that support me in this process of letting go. Um, by the way, my guides can be a little sassy. So, they said, if you're not yet walking on water, some of these practices might be good for you too. Just saying. So, the first is such a sweet practice. It's the daily exam, and this comes from Dominatio, St. Ignatius. Let's start by really relaxing into the presence of God. That kind of heals the day right there. Give thanks for the day that I've just had in all its totality. Just gratitude. Gratitude for the opportunity, for the experience, for all of it. Then I review the day. And I ask to look not through my eyes, but look at my day through the eyes of God. And it's very simple questions. Where did I follow God's will and where did I miss the mark? But I'm genuinely often surprised by what God has to show me about where I'm following her will and where I'm missing the mark. Similarly, when there's places that I haven't followed God's will, when I haven't acted in an aligned way, if you see that day after day, the patterns start to emerge so that you don't have to focus on it as, oh, I have to correct this thing. Somehow just observing it, having the awareness of it, in the sitting in the presence, those corrections begin to come naturally. So step 4 then is giving the day to God. It's done. It's out of my hands. I don't need to hold it. And the final step is asking for grace. I ask for the blessing to do whatever learning or healing I need to do in the dream state, and for the grace to live well tomorrow. The other practice is one I do weekly. I set aside about an hour and a half. It doesn't always take that long, but I certainly don't want to be rushed, to go more deeply into something that it's time for me to release. So I create a sacred space, make sure the phone isn't going to ring and that I won't be disturbed. I start with about 20 minutes of centering prayer to just be quiet and open up to the presence. And I ask for guidance on two areas. First, what is it that it's time for me to let go of today? So once I see what that item is, then my next question is, what's the best way to approach this today? I just put myself in the process in the hands of God, and I'll allow my guides to direct me and to help me. And we move through the releasing exercise. One little thing that comes for all of us from tonight is kind of demystifying this whole idea of forgiveness and releasing things, getting things out of our space. It's worth it because it's just so human to fall into things that we fall into. And then it's our work to let it go.